So it's time for another week of Flump9 versus you, and I have to apologise because it's been ages. Okay, obviously it was international break last week, but the weekend before that I wasn't well and didn't record any predictions, and it's actually a good job because I had a terrible week because I still did the predictions because you can do it on my website flump9.co.uk. So I still entered my predictions in there, and I'm really glad I didn't face anyone, otherwise it would have been a shocking week, worst week yet. Make sure that you sign up on there because I'm going to be giving a prize away for the top score, but don't worry, I might give away a random prize throughout the season. So even if you haven't joined yet, make sure you do, because there's still a chance, because I know there's people that don't do it every week, so there's still a chance that you may win the overall prize. So anyway, like I said, it was ages ago. I faced Errol, and I'm now going to go through the results and show you how we both got on. Yeah, so here are the results. Like I said, it is a lifetime ago. Can't quite remember any of the games now, but I do remember us beating Man United, and we both thought that we would beat them. Just we thought they would be a bit tighter, but no. We both thought Arsenal would beat Watford. Errol got correct score on Wolves Southampton. I got the correct scoreline on Huddersfield Spurs. We both played our joker and managed to get 4 points because we got the correct goal difference. It was a close week, but sadly, Errol did beat me. So here's the table. Roger is still top with 17 points. Errol 15. So not far behind. But it will be interesting to see if anyone can knock Roger off the top of that table. Roger, I want to. I'll show you now the overall standings. And still a little way off. Need to claw some points back this week against Bez. Yeah, so I lost again. I really need to start winning because the gap is getting bigger. And I'm hoping that this week will be the week. I am facing Bez, as you've just seen. Thank you for joining in. I really appreciate it. I know it was a bit of a last minute thing, so even bigger thank you. You have given some fighting talk, said that you're going to just destroy me, I think. And you're probably right. But if I do win, then you won't live it down because I haven't won for a few weeks. And like I said, not doing too well. And you've given fighting talk. So, bring it on. Let's hope I do win. And let's hope West Ham win, more importantly. Just quickly, I've just read Bez's message. It didn't say he was going to destroy me. He just said he wished me luck because I was going to need it. So let's hope he's wrong. But anyway, here is Flump9 versus Bez. First up for the weekend, we have Chelsea versus Man United. Chelsea are unbeaten, and we know that Man United were lucky against Newcastle. They were poor. And I think, because they were losing 2-0 and then ended up winning 3-2, everyone suddenly was like, oh, it's an amazing result. And, really they shouldn't be scraping a 3-2 win against Newcastle. No disrespect to Newcastle, but they're not even having they're not having quite a poor season. It's going to be a tough game. Having said that, I think it's going to be close, and I think Mourinho will get a point from it, but I'm going with a boring 1-1 draw.
Morning all, this is Bez from Hammers Chat and Crossed Hammers. I've been asked to do a predictions game with Katie for this week's fixtures. So we start off with Chelsea against Man United. At the minute, it seems to be a little bit up in the air about what Hazard's doing going forward, and been in the papers that he wants to play with Mourinho again. So I think it'd be a tough ask for Man United to get something at Chelsea the way they are at the minute. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 Chelsea win, and I do think Hazard will score against Man United just to show Mourinho what he's missing. So.
Okay, so next up is Bournemouth versus Southampton. Bournemouth had a brilliant result last time think they beat Watford. I think it was 4-0. I mean, I say this every week, but these aren't results that I'm predicting, clearly, because I'm not doing that well. Yeah, I fancy Bournemouth. I don't think Southampton are doing too well. I think Bournemouth will really up for this game. They're at home. I think they'll be too strong for Southampton, and I'm actually going to go for 3-1 Bournemouth win.
On to the next game is Bournemouth versus Southampton. It's a bit of a South Coast derby. Bournemouth seem to take it a little bit more serious than Southampton, but they are a pain in the arse at home. So I think Bournemouth will scrape it, and I think it will be a 3-1 win to Bournemouth.
Cardiff versus Fulham, two of the newly promoted sides. Both not probably having the best start, but Cardiff have had a terrible, terrible start to the season. Not won a game yet. And I can't see them winning this one either. I do think this probably be more exciting than people will probably expect. Now I've said that, wait for it to be a 0-0 last game of the day, last game of the or match of the day. No, I fancy Fulham to come away with the 3 points, but I think Cardiff will score. So Cardiff 1, Fulham 2.
Next, we've got Cardiff at Fulham. I won't be in any hurry to watch the highlights of this game whatsoever. I can see it being a very boring game, but I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I mean, that's generous given each team a goal, but I would like to say 0-0, but just to spice it up a bit, I think I'll go with a 1-1 draw.
Now we're on to Man City versus Burnley, and I always go with a Man City win, and this week will be no different. No discredit to Burnley. Probably haven't had the sort of start to the season that they'd have probably hoped after last season. Having said that, Burnley have won their last 3 games, but 2 of them games were, I think, Cardiff and Huddersfield, both of which are in the bottom 3. This is a far tougher test, and I can't see them get anything from it. What am I going to go with? It's just how many goals? 3-1 Man City.
Next, we've got Man City at home to Burnley. We all know what Man City do at home. I can't see Burnley going there and getting anything, not even a point. So, on the basis of the way Man City are at the minute, I can probably see a 4-0 win to Man City. It could be anything, let's face it. But yeah, I'll stick with 4. I don't think Burnley are the worst side in the league. So, it could, like you say, it could be anything.
Newcastle versus Brighton. Newcastle are another side that have yet to win a game. But unlike Cardiff, I actually fancy them to get their first 3 points of the season. It's not going to be an easy game. We know how difficult Brighton are to play, sadly. But Brighton are away, and I think Newcastle, after being they were really unlucky against Man United, I fancy them. I think, they've had the international break. I think they're going to be up for it. They know they're capable of scoring goals. So yeah, I fancy Newcastle to win this one 2-1.
Next is Newcastle versus Brighton. Very funny teams. Brighton's home record is really good. They're not too much of a bad side, and Newcastle they're in that little rut at the minute where the owner don't want to plough no money in. Again, it's hard. I could probably see Newcastle edging it, so I'm going to go with a Newcastle 2-1 win on that one.
Now it's the big game, West Ham versus Tottenham, and this is the game, isn't it, that you so desperately want to win. What I will say is whenever we play Tottenham, we seem to be up for it. It is a game made for Mark Noble, and yeah, we'll be up for it. And that's all I ask, that we battle and we just start right from kick-off, play how we expect us to play, and battle for 90 minutes. And if we do that, I'll be happy. Obviously, I'd rather we win, but yeah, play like we know we can play when we're playing the bigger sides. We tend to do that, and I'm hoping that Saturday is no different. Score-wise, I've got to go with us. I've got to. But it's not going to be easy. I think it's going to be tight. I expect us both to score, but I think we're just going to nick it 2-1. I hope I'm right.
Next is West Ham versus Tottenham. They're bogey team, so I wouldn't go anything other than a West Ham win. Although they're always quite close games, but we do get up for it. And again, maybe it is my heart overall in my head, but I do think we'll win. I feel very confident against Tottenham. So I'm going to say 3-2 win to West Ham.
Wolves versus Watford. I think it's going to be a really good game. I have been impressed by both teams this season. Obviously, Wolves have just been promoted, but it's not a surprise for me. You know, they spent big and I expected them to do well. And they have. I think Wolves are 7th and Watford are 9th, so I think it's going to be really close. So close, in fact, that I'm going to go with a draw, but I think it'll be a really exciting game, so 2-2.
Another very tricky game. Wolves are the surprise outfit of the Premier League this year. Well, they're not surprised outfit, but they're playing very well, and they've got a good side, good manager. He sets them up well, but then Watford have hit a little bit of form as well, so it's a very tricky game to predict. I think I'm going to go with a 2-1 Wolves win. Yeah, just on the basis that, you know, they seem to be a little bit of a better side at home.
Okay, next up is Huddersfield versus Liverpool. Huddersfield, the third side yet to get 3 points. And they're obviously facing an unbeaten Liverpool side. Not looking good for Huddersfield. Yeah, I mean, Liverpool, the likes of Firmino and Salah, haven't been performing quite as well as last season. But having said that, Liverpool was, like I said, unbeaten. And even with them not performing quite as well as you expect, they still managed to score goals. And yeah, Huddersfield, I mean, put a bet on that. Put a bet on Huddersfield winning, you get good odds. No, it's going to be a Liverpool win. I don't think Huddersfield will even score. But I don't think it's going to be like a 5-4-0 victory that you might expect, purely for the fact that Firmino and Salah aren't performing quite so well, although you think surely it's going to happen soon. I'm not sure if Mane's fit, so I'm going with a 2-0 away win.
Next is Huddersfield at home to Liverpool. I can't see Huddersfield really getting anything from the game. Liverpool at the minute, you know, it's a 2-horse race in the Premier League. It's between Liverpool and Man City, so I will probably go with a Liverpool 4-0 win again. Why not? You know, same as Man City, they can't be stopped. The front three are just relentless. I just think they'll probably run right at Huddersfield. So yeah, a 4-0 win.
Okay, so now we're on to Sunday, and it's Everton versus Crystal Palace. Everton last week, well, not last week because it's the international break, but however many weeks ago it was, feels like a lifetime ago, got a fantastic result away to Leicester, beat them 2-1. I was thinking that Everton weren't looking too strong after we convincingly beat them, and I think they lost to Arsenal. And I did think actually that they weren't going to have a great season because they just looked quite poor. But I think they've kicked on from there, and I expect they'll do well on Sunday. I've just said Sunday. They'll do well on Sunday because Palace are a really funny side, and yeah, they're not playing too well. It's hard. All these games are hard to predict because the international break for some teams can be exactly what they need. But I think it will go in Everton's favour. It will be close. 2-1 Everton.
Then we go to Sunday's game. Sunday's game is first up is Everton against Crystal Palace. Very two similar sides. Everton haven't hit the ground running with their season as far as I'm concerned at the minute. And Palace are just, 1 minute they go and beat someone decent, and then they lose at home to someone crap. So yeah, two very similar sides in respect of, they haven't. You don't know where you stand with them. It's very hard to predict. But with Everton at home, I do think that they'll probably scrape it. And I'm going to say a 2-0 Everton win. I don't think Palace will get anything at Goodison Park. So.
And lastly, Monday evening's game, Arsenal versus Leicester. Arsenal, I think, are unbeaten in 6. Everyone's saying that they haven't really faced anyone of any decent sides, because the 2 decent sides they faced, Chelsea and Man City, at the beginning of the season, they lost to. However, I think it's really hard to judge because obviously totally new team, new manager, all of that. This is obviously a little bit of a tougher test, I think, Leicester, but they're at home, and I think Arsenal will just be too strong for Leicester. Again, I don't think they're going to destroy them. I think it will be close, but I'm going to say 2-1 to Arsenal.
And the last game is Arsenal at home to Leicester. Again, Arsenal should win that on paper. They're a better side than Leicester. But again, you just don't know what Leicester side is going to turn up. And sometimes Arsenal do flap a little bit. So I'm going to say an Arsenal 3-1 win. I think there'd just be too much for Leicester at home. So yeah, that's my predictions, and fingers crossed that we can get some points on the board and beat Katie this week. I am a little bit optimistic. We've had the international break, so I'm sure that will throw a few crazy results in, and let's hope we get a victory against Spurs. Come on.
I love this game.